On Saturday, it was anticipated that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump would meet up on the campaign trail in Iowa. However, Trump had to postpone his rally in Des Moines due to bad weather, including tornado warnings. Unfortunately, we are compelled to postpone today's outdoor rally at the Lauridsen Amphitheater due to the tornado warnings in Des Moines. Stay tuned, we'll announce a new date soon. On his Truth social platform, the former president wrote, "Be safe out there." Trump, who is running for president for the third time, has dominated the GOP primary field thus far, but his repeated attacks on DeSantis have indicated that he views the Florida governor as his most significant potential rival. DeSantis, on the other hand, has approached the GOP frontrunner for 2024 cautiously as he prepares for a run for the presidency. There are few signs that the governor will change his approach before he enters the race formally in the coming weeks. He has spent much of the past month avoiding Trump, avoiding the former president's constant missives, and dodging questions about his potential rivals' mounting legal issues. At Republican Rep. Randy Feinster's annual family picnic in the northwest city of Sioux Center, the most conservative region of the state, DeSantis on Saturday put his Midwest retail politics to the test. In Sioux County, where Trump received 82% of the vote in 2020, politics are heavily influenced by evangelicals. DeSantis listed off the conservative policy victories he helped pass in Florida's recently ended legislative session, but he also warned his party and made a possible announcement for the presidency. Republicans will win across the board if we make 2024 a referendum on Joe Biden and his failures, and we present a positive alternative for the future of this country, he claimed. If we fail to do that, if we become sidetracked, if we concentrate on the previous election or on other peripheral issues, then I believe the Democrats will defeat us once more, and I believe it will be very challenging to bounce back from that setback. Future-focused DeSantis told the audience that it was time to bring back sanity, normalcy, integrity, and truth in how the nation approaches education, crime, and border security. He argued that parents should have more rights than school systems, and that criminals ought to face severe punishment. The Florida governor was speaking while standing a few feet away from a sizable DeSantis 24 sign provided by Never Back Down, a super PAC backing his political ambitions. The super PAC arrived on a Team DeSantis for President bus and had lined the streets outside with similar signs. 8-page booklets highlighting his life story and achievements were on the tables. Additionally, attendees were given the opportunity to sign a declaration endorsing DeSantis for president. A sought-after speaking opportunity for Republican presidential candidates, Feinster's Family Picnic, which is held at the Dean Family Classic Car Museum in Sioux Center, has quickly gained in popularity. Last year's event featured former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who is already running for president in 2024. Former Vice President Mike Pence, who is also considering a run, spoke at the inaugural picnic in 2021. The entire Sioux Center program on Saturday avoided mentioning Trump, and several attendees told CNN they were open-minded, if not eager, for a different candidate in 2024. Pam Brace, a resident of Iowa, said of DeSantis, "We want to have that for the whole country. His policies in Florida have really worked well for the state." DeSantis will speak at a GOP fundraiser in Cedar Rapids later on Saturday night, after mixing and serving food to the crowd in Sioux Center. This will be his 12th such event since March. His political team told CNN that the first 10 helped local Republicans raise more than $4.3 million. DeSantis's allies have started practicing potential counterattacks now that Trump is on the attack. Never Back Down referred to Trump as a candidate who has lost his luster, and implied that he was attending the CNN town hall in New Hampshire on Wednesday, in order to cling to his eroding frontrunner status. The super PAC applauded host Caitlin Collins during the event on Wednesday, as she pressed Trump about the incomplete wall at the US-Mexico border, and accused him of betraying gun owners while in office, by outlawing bump stocks. The group tweeted a list of the scandals Trump had spent the hour debating, including the Jean Carroll battery and defamation case, the inquiries into his stash of taxpayer-owned classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, his attempts to rig the 2020 Georgia presidential election, his involvement in the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol, and whether he would pardon rioters. The tweet asked, "How does this make America great again?" The letter stood out for its willingness to criticize Trump on issues DeSantis himself has avoided commenting on. DeSantis has repeatedly declined to respond to inquiries regarding the outcomes of the 2020 election and Trump's election deceptions. And when DeSantis brought up these issues, he largely supported Trump. DeSantis initially referred to the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6 as unacceptable, but on the anniversary of the violent riot, he called the coverage nauseating and Christmas for the media to smear anyone who ever supported Donald Trump. DeSantis referred to the FBI's raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate last summer as another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies. The governor was so far behind in the polls, Trump said, he ought to just relax and take it easy and think about the future, but his political team didn't tweet anything about the CNN town hall. This is despite the fact that they are on a rapid response Twitter account to quickly respond to negative coverage and criticism from perceived political enemies. The Florida governor has become the target of Trump's primary attacks. The former president has criticized DeSantis' voting record as a congressman on matters like entitlement reform, and called him disloyal for considering a presidential run, after endorsing him in his 2018 bid for governor. The former president brought up this issue once more on social media on Friday, just before his trip to Iowa. Trump also seems to be threatening DeSantis. "I would share some unflattering information about him with you. Other than maybe his wife, I know more about him than anyone else," Trump claimed in a Fox News digital interview from last fall. As Florida legislators complete his divisive agenda, the DeSantis presidential countdown begins. Even in the face of much more aggressive jabs from Trump, some of DeSantis' most ardent online allies seem uncomfortable with the messaging, even though it is common for super PACs to work for the candidates they support. It's the most recent illustration of how difficult it will be for Republicans to unseat someone who is still widely regarded as an icon within the party. In a tweet, conservative influencer John Cardillo, who has access to DeSantis' political operation, referred to never back down strategy as rehashing stale talking points. Brendan Leslie, the owner of Florida's Voice, a website well known in the state for its positive coverage of DeSantis, tweeted, "I swore a Democrat wrote this. Never give up stood by the strategy." Erin Perrine, a spokeswoman for the Super PAC, said in a statement to CNN that the group isn't afraid to set the record straight and push back on false attacks from potential opponents who are scared of facing the governor should he jump into the race. Ron DeSantis is the future, and Americans know it. Trump's cancelled rally in Des Moines was scheduled to be his first political event following Wednesday's CNN town hall, and his first time in a controlled environment, following a jury's finding that he was guilty of sexually assaulting and defaming author E. Jean Carroll. His advisors told CNN that his main priorities would have been voter outreach and caucus education. At least one video that Trump recorded and was scheduled to play during the rally was intended to explain the caucus process and encourage Iowans to learn more about it. Abortion is in the spotlight as GOP candidates for 2024 court evangelical voters in Iowa. During his visit, DeSantis gave Iowans a chance to get to know the governor better. DeSantis spoke at 2 events in Iowa earlier this year, while remaining behind a rope line to pose for photos and sign copies of his new book for attendees. Before the trip, Never Back Down made the announcement that DeSantis had the support of 37 Iowa state lawmakers, including several members of the party leadership. State Senate President Amy Sinclair and State House Majority Leader Matt Winchell, two regarded as young conservative leaders from rural Iowa, are among those backing DeSantis. A source familiar with the Trump campaign's plans said the Trump team would reveal the support of nearly 150 Iowa county leaders and grassroots activists for the former president shortly after the Super PAC's announcement. Feinster declared earlier this week that he was sticking to his decision to forego the primary at this time and would refrain from endorsing DeSantis at the gathering on Saturday. The congressman said, "We have great candidates right now, and I just look forward to meeting them all. I just show them around because Iowa has so many wonderful things to offer." Information has been added to this story in the headline.